up, guys? It's your boy, Barca Boy 103. Just finished watching the match, and Barcelona drop more points yet again in the league, this time to Valencia away at the Mestalla 1-1. Yet again, the story of our season. We create chances, but we just do not finish our dinner. Valencia get one jammy chance, and they put it into the back of the net. This team is going to be the death of me. That's now no wins in our last 3 games in all competition, and that's now 4 points out of a possible 6 dropped in the league, and we are probably one step closer to saying goodbye to any chance of retaining our league title. The starting lineup for this match is on the screen right now. It was Iñaki Peña in goal, a back 4 of Cancelo, Koundé, Araujo, and Alejandro Balde, midfield 3 of Frenkie de Jong, Gundogan, and Pedri, and a front 3 of Raphinha, Lewandowski, and Joao Felix. No real controversy in this lineup selection apart from Balde being picked ahead of Andreas Christensen, and we also had appearances from Ferran Torres and Lamine Yamal off the bench. The only goal scored for Barcelona in this match was scored by Joao Felix. It's actually his first goal away for Barcelona. All of his goals before this came at the Montjuic. It was a beautiful, magical ball over the top by Frenkie de Jong that finds Raphinha in behind. Raphinha then cuts it across to Joao Felix, who taps into the open net and gives Barcelona the lead, but we couldn't hold on to it too long, but thank God Raphinha stayed onside. So overall, the team performance rating on the night, I'm going to be giving it a poor 4 out of 10. Of course, 6 being the average. Yet again, it is the same story. I should just be taking my match reviews from other games, just copying and pasting them at this point. Maybe just changing the kit, because it's come to a point now where I'm just annoyed of repeating myself. I just saw the XG. Valencia's expected goals was 0.4. Barcelona's expected goals, 3.09. I mean, fucking hell, man. I am sick to death of this team not being clinical and not doing enough in the final third, and it comes down to every single player in that midfield and the attack. The thing is, right, is that midfield 3 and that front 3, pretty much barring maybe one change to the wingers, will be our midfield 3 and front 3 for the rest of the year. And if they're doing this now, we still have to keep in mind another whole entire half of the season to go. I mean, I dread to think what's going to happen in these next few months, because again, we have no Gavi in the midfield. We're not going to sign anyone in January. Our midfield 3 is going to be Gundogan, Pedri, and Gavi for the rest of the year. Not Gavi, Frenkie de Jong, depending on who gets injured or not, and same with the front 3, and they're just not doing it. I thought the midfield a bit stronger today. I liked how Xavi had Frenkie in the hole and had Gundogan more advanced, and Pedri playing a bit deeper to create chances. I liked that, but after we went 1-1, that midfield was completely nullified. It only did well when we were trying to go for a goal and we were in the lead. The front 3 is just, one day they play well, one day they don't play well. It's just a calamity for the entirety. And again, it's just Barcelona as a team, as a unit, getting caught again sleeping. We got caught twice sleeping this game. First, in the first minute, thank God we didn't concede, because my God, I probably would have just deleted my YouTube channel and just, shot myself in the corner, because we would have conceded our 5th goal before the first minute, because they were all complaining that, it was supposed to be our throw-in, and then they just go and almost score Valencia. Then the second time is when they got done on the cross, and Hugo Guillamon was just free in the middle, just free to have a shot. Araujo backed off, Koundé backed off, Pedri backed off, and he puts it into the back of the net. I don't think nothing much Iñaki Peña can do at that. But again, the team is just so dead, man. They just cannot do anything in the final third. Again, comes down to the famous quotes of Pep Guardiola. My job, this is quoting Pep here, my job as a manager is to bring the team from the defense into the final third, and then it comes down to the players' individual brilliance, their individual ability to finish the chances. So I can't really point fingers at Xavi for this again, because it comes down to these 11 that you see on your screen, who again, just not providing that output, that clinicality, and that decisiveness in the final third, and yet again, it's costing us. For me, without a shadow of a doubt, tonight's performance was a 4 out of 10. Let's now get into the players' individual player performance rating. We're going to start off with the goalkeeper, Iñaki Peña. I'm going to give Iñaki Peña an average 6 out of 10. Made a brilliant save in the first minute. Of course, it was right at him. I think it was more poor from the striker than individual brilliance from Iñaki Peña. For the goal, it was top right corner, perfectly placed. Couldn't reach that. Apart from that, he had a quite quiet day. I don't think Valencia really had any chance at a goal. Punched out a few of the corner kicks and made some easy saves that were directed right at him. So nothing to blame him today, so I'll probably give him an average 6 out of 10. Now for the center back partnership in front of him, firstly on the left hand side, it was Jules Koundé. I will give Koundé a 7 out of 10. Of course, the big question before the game was Koundé starting ahead of Christensen. I think Koundé did put in a solid performance. I think he was a bit sloppy in that first 5-7 minutes. Grew into the game, was very strong in the air. Did keep the player on side for the Valencia goal, but again, he kept him on by like his nipple. It was that close. I think Koundé did have a good game, much better than what he's been performing recently, especially against Girona and against Royal Antwerp. It's definitely an improvement, but it's not the pre-injury Koundé that we all know and loved. So I think he put in a good shift today, so I will give him a 7 out of 10. Center back partner on the right hand side, the captain on the day was of course the Uruguayo Araujo. I'm gonna give Araujo a 7 out of 10. I think in that first half, the entirety of the first half, very shaky. Got away with it a lot. His last ditch tackles and last ditch, it was a lot of him making a defensive, action, making a mistake, and then him making up for it. I was a lot of that in the first half. Second half came out very strong, put in some good tackles in the first 10-15 minutes of that second half. Was commanding, had a good aerial duels as well. Now after that, just had a solid game overall, I would say. So I would give him a 7, even though the first half was a bit ropey from the captain, but nonetheless, I think he did put a solid performance at the back. Into the fullbacks now. Firstly, Alejandro Balde at left back. For me, I'm going to give Alejandro a 5 out of 10. Just looked overall shite, if I'm being honest. I think his crosses have been apt. I think he attempted probably in this game 15-20 crosses. I don't even think one of them connected. Actually, the one for Gundogan in the first half, that cutback connected. Apart from that, that was it. I think Balde needs to heavily improve on his crossing. I think his defensive output was alright, to be expected. There were a lot of moments in the game where if you notice him, he was being a bit lazy. He would lose the ball and then try to track it back slowly. A lot of times in the game, he was open and screaming for the ball wouldn't find him. He'd show frustration. I think Balde is definitely going through his worst phase of his Barcelona career. He's kind of in and out of the team, and when he is in the team, he ain't doing too well. Didn't mind the selection from Xavi, give him a chance in this game, have someone a bit more natural on the left hand side, but I don't think he's done enough really to make it permanently. If I think we have a Champions League final tomorrow, Xavi would put Cancelo left back and Koundé or Araujo at right back, because I don't think Balde has done enough. Again, a poor performance from him overall, but thank God he didn't get caught out or didn't make any key or massive error. But I will be giving him a 5 out of 10. The other fullback on the right hand side was of course Joao Cancelo. I will give Cancelo tonight a 7 out of 10. Thought he played very well, especially in that first half. I think him and another player that we'll talk about later on were the only two players who I think the entirety of the 90 minutes put in a solid performance. I think the yellow card was a bit harsh on him as well for the tackle. He's creating chances, making overlapping runs for Raphinha, and a lot of moments in that first half as well, he'd get stuck in areas where 2 or 3 Valencia players are pressing him, and he'd make it out of it no problem. Nice little 1-2 passes. He gets out of the difficult areas and difficult positions. So I played a very good game, so I will be giving him a 7 out of 10. Into the midfield now. Firstly, Frenkie de Jong in the pivot position, or kind of roaming in the deeper midfield area. I will be giving Frenkie tonight an 8 out of 10, and my man the match for Barcelona. I thought he was absolutely fantastic. Even before the assist, I thought him and Cancelo were our 2 best players in this game, without a shadow of a doubt. 100% was creating chances, was tracking back to defend, was trying to be getting stuck in the middle of the park, advancing the ball. Of course, his pre-assist for the goal was absolutely sublime. His passes after that as well, he was the only one creating for Barcelona. All the balls over the top to Raphinha, Joao Felix, Lewandowski, Gundogan, Rant were our only times we would look threatening, and they were all pinpoint perfection, except for some in the last I think 10-15 minutes. They weren't that great, a bit overhit here and there, but I thought Frenkie de Jong had a very solid game, and I will be giving him an 8 out of 10. Next midfielder on the right hand side, a bit more advanced than he normally is. It was of course Ilkay Gundogan. I'm going to give Gundogan a 5 out of 10. I think his performance was an average 6, but my god, this man missed 2 clear cut chances. I talked about the expected goals being 3 for Barcelona. 2 of them should have been Gundogan goals. The first one, the Balde cut back, the only cross that he put in that was semi-decent, poor touch. Second one, I think a cross from Raphinha in the second half. Again, he's wide open, has his time, hits it first time, and puts it wide, doesn't even put it on target. People say that, oh, Gundogan has to play more advanced, oh, in the deeper role, he's not really using all of his ability. You put him up more advanced, And he does this. He had, of course, the chip in the first half. They tried the back heel. So many chances Gundogan missed in this game. And for me, that has to be something that you have to take into consideration. I think on the ball, he was alright today, especially in the build-up play. I think the defensive aspect wasn't that great. But again, it was mainly in that final third where you depend on these players' ability and, individual prowess to get something. Didn't do anything. Gundogan for me should have had a goal at least minimum 100%. And for me, that's why I've given him a 5 out of 10. And the last midfielder was, of course, Pedri Potter. I'm going to give Pedri an average 6 out of 10. I was almost going to give him a 5 out of 10. I think in that first half, I would say first hour of the game, I thought he was absolutely brilliant, especially in that deeper role. We saw him drop back, create, spread out the pitch, find Raphinha, Joao Felix out wide. He's making passes through the middle as well. Felt like the conductor in the team. But that last half an hour, my God, was he shocking. Giving the ball away, should have closed down the player for the Valencia goal, was not connecting with the passes. Even though the passes already have been connecting, he put too much power on it. That last half an hour from Pedri was absolutely woeful in my opinion. But that kind of first hour kind of overshadows his player rating. I would say probably the last half an hour 4, and the first hour maybe 6.57 if you really want to push it. But overall, I'm giving Pedri 6 out of 10. I think he played overall a solid game, but could have been much better if he didn't have a very, very poor last half an hour. Into the forwards now. Firstly, Joao Felix at the left wing. I'm going to give Joao Felix tonight a 5 out of 10. Honestly speaking, apart from the goal, I thought he was abysmal in the sense that he was doing nothing on the left-hand side. He had no connection in play, no chemistry with the team, was not tracking back to defend after losing the ball. Going forward, didn't look threatening. I think he had a chance in the first half where he laid it back for Pedri that just skimmed the bar. Apart from that, he had no creativity whatsoever, was not getting involved in the play. Of course, this scored the open goal tap-in, which is why I've given him a better rating than I think he deserved. But I think, again, Felix at the point now where he needs to be dropped. I can see why Simeone is not fancying him because, my God, defensive output from Felix is absolutely abysmal. Unless it's a big game, big moment against, Porto, his former side, Atletico Madrid, his former team. This man does not put in any effort, especially when he loses the ball. In attacking transition as well, I feel like he doesn't really put in that effort. We see him kiss the bat and stuff like that, but I'm thinking, okay, run the counter attack. Let's run at space here. Let's go and sprint. He's there jogging. A lot of moments when Raphinha would try to find him and he wouldn't run onto it. So I think it wasn't the best of performances from Felix despite scoring the goal. So I will give him a 5 out of 10. On the other winger now, it was of course Raphinha. I'm also going to give Raphinha a 5 out of 10. To be fair, I think the whole entire team today, their touch and control of the ball was piss poor shite. Raphinha was probably the best player. Every single touch and control was beautiful. After that, though, my God. Raphinha, I think, had about, I would say, 9 or 10 chances to take the defender on 1v1. Did it once. Second half, where he looked like he nutmegged the Valencia player and had a shot that was saved by Mestalla and got the corner kick. He just looks so dead on that right-hand side. He just gets the ball, passes it back to Cancelo. Gets the ball, switches the play, gets the ball back to Cancelo, gets the ball to Frankie. This is why Dembele last season started ahead of him week in, week out, even when Dembele was out injured for about 4 or 5 months. Because Dembele has that X factor. He has the ability to take on defenders where Raphinha has it, just doesn't do it. I don't know if it's a Raphinha, I don't know if it's an instruction from Xavi, but again, and you had to talk about the chances today. He had the chance in the first half, the 1v1 in the second half, the shot in the second half as well. I mean, again, should be scoring 100% in my opinion. I don't think he was piss poor, but definitely not a good performance whatsoever. So I will give him a 5 out of 10. And last but not the least, of course, RL9, the striker, Robert Lewandowski. I've given him a 4 just because I've had enough. I mean, it's just chance after chance after chance. To be fair, I will give him some praise. I think his link-up play today was decent. But my God, he got bullied by Diakabe throughout the whole entire game. Could not pass him. He had the chance. The scissor kick one, just on the volley. I think the fact that he connected with it is already brilliant, so we'll let him off with that. That chip when he did the 1v1 with Diakabe was piss poor. The volley started the second half. I was hoping that would be at least on target for a guy who's on 250,000 a week and being considered as one of the greatest strikers to play this game. Chance after chance after chance. And I also think, to be fair, he doesn't get into the right area sometimes because he's dropping deep so much to get involved. When Raphinha is putting it across, or a ball day, or Lamine Yamal put it in a good area, there's no one there to poke it home, and he's too busy dropping back and then starts complaining and all this stuff. Anyways, gotta start Mark Gueye at this point. Victor Roque, I'm telling you, man, he's coming in December 27. This man is gonna send Lewandowski to the bench by the end of January. I'll tell you that right now. But Lewandowski, another poor showing for me, gets a 4 out of 10. Now for the substitutions, the subs were only Ferran Torres and Lamine Yamal. No other changes were picked. Ferran Torres, of course, missed a 1v1. I don't think Lamine Yamal did enough to get involved in the game. Looked alright. Both of them have an impact. Probably give Lamine Yamal an average 6. I'd probably give Ferran a 5 for missing that chance, the 1v1, especially against his former side. I'm hoping that with the, storyline behind it, he would at least bury it, but didn't. But again, subs tonight didn't really have an impact on the game whatsoever. And last but not the least is, of course, the manager, Xavi Hernandez, who tonight for me gets an average 6 out of 10. You're probably thinking, Xavi out. Shut the fuck up. That's just waffle, in my opinion. What can Xavi do? What must man do, fam? He is picking the right team, the right system with the available players that he has. We're creating chances, we're defending, and the players just don't do anything. How is it Xavi's fault that Gundogan is missing 2 easy chances? How is it Xavi's fault that Lewandowski is missing chances? How is it Xavi's fault that Raphinha can't score a 1v1? How is it Xavi's fault that Balde cannot put a cross in to save his life? Yes, he can maybe say, okay, Balde's not putting in crosses well, let me just take him off. Looks to the bench. The only defender he has on the bench is Christensen, who can't play at left back. He looks again, bloody Sergio Roberto. I am putting him at left back. In the midfield, you know what? Let's make a change. Let me look. Romeu. Get that out of my face. I do think Fermin Lopez should have came on. I think, again, Xavi, my main criticism today, his substitutions weren't impactful and he didn't do enough. I mean, you have players on the bench. I would like to see Mark Guiu come in. Maybe even Casado. I would have liked to see him after a good showing midweek against Antwerp. No Mark Guiu as well. Subs today were very, very poor from Xavi. I think his in-game management, especially in that last 20 minutes, wasn't great. But apart from that, what can you do? We had expected goals of 3.09 and only scored 1. And the one we scored was an open net tap-in. You cannot blame Xavi for the players not finishing their chances. What are the famous quotes of Pep Guardiola? The 4 Ps: pass, position, play, and pressure. We did all that today. Again, you can talk about the execution, but the performance was there. Was another famous quote: my job is to get the team from the defense to the final third. It's their job to finish it. Xavi did that. Look at the chances again. We can make a chance compilation. Look, I'm not saying that Xavi shouldn't be criticized. I did criticize him, but I don't think he is the main culprit of the problem. And the reality is that these players need to kick up the arse. And it is Xavi's job to give him that kick up the arse. I think, you know what? Something to praise about Xavi, we came out after the second half very, very strong. Araujo came out, looked improved. Koundé was looking good. Frankie de Jong was making runs, balls over the top. Pedri was looking creative. Raphinha was getting in behind. We saw Raphinha, have a little bit of flair, take on that one defender. From the 45th minute to the 60th to the hour mark, we looked great. Then after that, we just dropped off, especially after Valencia scored. For me, it doesn't come down to Xavi. It comes down to the players, and that's why Xavi tonight, I've given him an average 6 out of 10. So that was a match review for Valencia versus Barcelona in La Liga. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like, and of course leave me your thoughts down below in the comments on everything we discussed. The main thing, obviously, of course, is your thoughts on the performance, your player ratings, and your manager rating as well. And of course, make sure you guys subscribe down below if you haven't already, and I will see you guys next time on the channel. Take care, and Forza Barca.
Go!